If you like gore porn and animated, that's for you.
So, you know, a lot of people that listen to this want to make animation and want to make all this shit. But most of them, I think, like, screw themselves up or don't or overthink. So how can you give us some secret tips as to how you approach, like, how did you approach this music video? Do you ever think of things you can't do or can do, or do you just follow, like, an instinct and just start doing it?
I think it has to be the instinct, because, like, I mean, I've been doing, like, hard-ass art labor since I was a kid, so I guess it's, like, instinct. But no, because, like, when I first started doing it, I didn't know I was going to do the whole thing, but I know I had to do some of it, because I just couldn't resist anymore. But you have to just do it, like, I did it, I get up in the morning at noon, and then I do it until, like, 5, when I leave for work, to work at the Phillies. Hi! Pistachios! Get that cross-link there. And then I would come back at 10, and then I just do it until 3 a.m. and go to sleep.
So you don't have anybody in your head when you're making this. You're just doing whatever the fuck you want. Or, right?
What do you mean, anybody?
Like,
do you draw like storyboards first, or you just go into the program and start doodling shit, or what do you do?
Well, some scenes, because this video was like, I made it all out of order, so it wasn't planned, and sometimes I just go in there and I don't know what the fuck's up with the storyboard, but then I found that it's just more efficient to draw out what you're gonna do first, and then, like, you know, the different scenes, and then do it from there, because you're gonna have to, like, reposition it and shit, and, you know.
And in case people are lost listening to this, I'll put a link in the show notes so you can go watch this video right now. And kind of, I guess what I was getting at too was, before we start talking about, like, the making of thing, I just wanted to know, because, you know, most people, this is probably alien to me, you, and Jimmy. That's why we're on the Forever Alone Filmmaker podcast.
Yeah, special!
But most people, like, I don't. They're like, well, who's going to like this? Will people like this? Will they be offended by it? Will I be, like...
Things too, man.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. No, you gotta consider the public's reactions. I know they're gonna be offended, but I don't give a fuck.
So you know, and you just don't care. Because that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people...
Scared. I get the fear, you know, because, you know, they're always trying to take you down or something. And, like, sometimes I'm like, is this too offensive? Am I gonna get fired? That's all I care about. I don't want to get fired. That's all I care about.
From your regular job,
yeah, from my regular job.
So as long as it doesn't, like... Well, but then that would be kind of a good thing, too, if you're, like, on Fox News, right? And it was like, this music video is ruining the country.
Yo, I do want to be in the top music thingy, but I don't think that they can't fire me for that. Oh, well, let's not talk about that anyway. Let's get off the job.
Yeah, well, I guess, kind of what I'm getting at is, like, you make a ton of stuff. Like, you make, like, crazy, awesome paintings, and... You've been doing animation for a long time, and you got a bunch of, like, fans on the internet who've been following your stuff, and you're just making all this shit. So, from people that you know in art school, because you're in art school, right? Or just artists that you've known or people that are creating stuff, what do you have or not have that they do or don't that's preventing them from maybe doing as much as you are? What is that thing?
Maybe it's just the ability to have willpower or be able to... but I know a lot of people in art school, they work really hard, you know. I do too, but, what don't I have?
Like resources, like what resources do you not have?
I need people to tell me how to market my shit and to get money, I need someone to tell me how to put this shit in a gallery, because I have a bunch of shit. I need someone to tell me. I need to do more research. You know, that guy said, Billy something. He was like, a guess is not enough. Is not a substitute for knowledge. So do your research.
So I guess what I hear is just that you care less what other people think or something, so you're not that worried about when you make this stuff. You're just, like, making it because it's...
I guess so. I guess, like, a lot of kids in art school are worried about what the teachers are going to think and what their critiques are and shit, but sometimes, you know, all the good shit, the art teachers, were said this is shit at first. And then, like, 40 years later, it's suddenly genius. But, like, back in the day, they'd be like, what the fuck? And the art teachers have scorned me sometimes, but they mostly all love me pretty much.
So, see, that's a secret you learned by being in art school that maybe a lot of people don't know, that, right? A lot of the people that were, like, famous later, people thought their stuff was shit, like, when they came out.
Yeah, for some reason, I feel like I'm able to tap into this generation, though. Well, just now, you know, because it seems like people are starting to get into some more insane shit, and more, they're getting more addicted to porn, more addicted to gore, as, you know, so I feel like I do have a way to get it.
So maybe, because this is what I've actually kind of thought, something like that, is that there's, like, the mainstream media, or the big companies, let's say, like, maybe even art galleries, maybe not so much, but movie studios, music labels, whatever, they're following what they think people want, right? And then that's kind of different from what you think people want, or what you wanted, what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't think that they care about what people want, right, Jimmy? The big movie producers, they don't care about what people want. They just want to kiss ass and make money. Right?
What do you mean, the studio? Like,
yeah,
the studios
Hollywood
want to make
shit.
money.
Yeah.
That's all they want to do is make money.
But, like, I feel like I know what people want. I feel like when I make that shit, I'm like, this is badass. And if you're going to think it's badass, I know it because it's badass. But then some people hate it because it's too badass. You know, I thought this was the generation that couldn't get offended. But apparently not.
I mean, it seems like they're getting offended more, right? Like, you can't say all the shit. People are like, oh, you can't say that. F-bomb.
Yeah, suddenly, like, we must be in, like, a really traumatized state or something because people want to be all hush-hush about stuff. Like, the country is, like, but then we're also secretly we're obsessed with all of it, too, at the same time. Like, we're all hypocrites.
Yeah, that stuff just makes me want to stab people's eyes when I'm like, oh, he said the F-bomb. I'm like, what the fuck is an F-bomb?
You cuss it home with your kid, you know? So, like, people flagged my latest video, I'm Dracula, bitch. Well, I mean, the one I put out right before the meet. Just because there was this pregnant bitch was going up and down, like, you know, bouncing, and her vagina would flash in and out of her legs. But the vagina was pretty much just a pink slit. It's just like a pink oval. It's an abstract form. It's not even a vagina. It's a pink oval. And because that flashed for a millisecond every 5 seconds, you know, alternating between Tyler, it wasn't like right in your face. There was other shit going on. You're like, what the fuck is this? It's not like, but because of that slit, and because they's haters, because they're jealous, the Odd Future kids all collectively flagged it. Now it's got off of YouTube.
So where do you go? Vimeo?
Well, it was on Newgrounds anyway. I don't know if that's the thing for Vimeo. It was just a stupid little bullshit thing just to, you know, generate hate and get attention.
What about all the animation geeks? Because, you know, probably I'm not like traditional animator. I don't do how you're supposed to. Either does Jimmy, and probably you don't either. And people are like, you can't do that. You can't just animate like that. Do you find animation geeks getting upset with your stuff too?
I don't even know about animation. I think animation geeks are the one that like me. It seems like the people that aren't animators and don't know anything about cartoons are the one that's like, that's bad animation. I'm like, why don't you try making a cartoon, man? Like, I don't have like 40 people, but like usually the people, I don't know anyone in the school. Like, you know, I taught myself. Me and Jimmy actually just found All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. I watched it last night on VHS. That was the movie that I paused to. I would sit in front of that thing and pause that thing for hours and hours and hours. That's how I learned how to animate.
Because you know what, like your new video kind of reminded me of is like in some movies or comic books, whatever. There's like the old kung fu master who's like, he looks like he's asleep and like he has snots all over himself and he seems like he's all fucking like out of control and fucked up. But then if you try to do something, like he'll like block it perfectly and has a perfect technique. And I think it was in Kung Fu Hustle, like that guy. And so like your video, the new one, it seems like all crazy and there's all this crazy shit going on. But the animation technique is actually dope.
Yeah, thank you. It improved a lot since.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this is fucking cool. Like
once you started watching like Ralph Bakshi movies, she kind of learned a lot from that, I think, right?
Nah, man.
Well, I mean, you definitely kind of took on, especially for that the other Tyler video.
So do you do reference?
That was just like, yeah, I parodied the Tyler video from Ralph Bakshi just because, you know, he did like these furries and they were like, meet me by the lake. And like, you know, they were like having talking about animal sex in the forest. So I just put 2 and 2 together.
So when you're animating like people moving and bodies twisting and stuff like that, are you using reference or is that just from your head? Are you watching
stuff?
It's all
in my head. It's all in the head. And I see these, like, it's like when I see the video, it's like, I know you know what it's like, M. Dot. Like, you listen to the song and then it just goes through your mind like perfect, like exactly how you want it.
Yeah.
Like a vision. And it's like your brain came. And then you have to use it out through the pen. But like I get it like nearly perfect to what's in my head every time. Sometimes I fuck up a little, that's kind of when I'm stoned, but sometimes that actually makes it even more interesting.
Do you think like do you do a lot of life drawing and stuff at art school?
It's standard to go through like figure drawings. You have like a bunch of figure drawing classes you have to take and foundations.
Did that help? It must have, right? Like that's how you know how to do that stuff from your head.
Like, yeah, you'd think it wouldn't be related, but like the art school must have helped me because the animation improved so much from when I last did anything like serious, which was like pretty much Alfred's Playhouse.
So they're feeding this monster then. They're making you stronger.
They sure did, man. It was like the animation like kind of sucked, and then all of a sudden it was like, bam, it's badass. And it must have been because of like some of the art school.
Well, you were older too, though.
Yeah, it's also because of the age thing. But I wasn't animating in between that.
Like, because a lot of her stuff she did when she was like 16 years old.
Yeah, that was when I did Alfred's Playhouse, and then I like stopped for 5 years. I had to go like see the world and like go and see the shit. And then I realized that the world was pretty much just all porn and gore, and I was like, bam. Now I know what I have to do. I have to go back to animating.
Yeah, and you do this in Flash, but you're not using any tweens or anything, right? You're just doing it all like frame by frame?
I use tweens when I have to. It's like I use this like half frame by frame and half tweens. It's like it all depends on what has to be done, you know what I mean?
And you use a tablet too.
Yeah. That's the other jump. I was using a ball mouse like my whole life, and then finally got this tablet, so that was the other upgrade. And I got CS5. I was using CS4.
Damn, so you were doing it on a mouse?
Yeah, dude. I did like all like from like 14 to 19. I had a mouse.
You know what that's kind of like? People that like Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if you've ever watched that, but there's this part I always bring up, and like the hero dude was going to go to this planet to fight this bad guy, and so like he had this chamber that simulated 10 times Earth's gravity. So then he trained in 10 times Earth's gravity. So then when he went in normal gravity, he was just like, like super powerful. So maybe if you're drawing with a mouse, right, and then you get with the tablet, which is actually like a fucking pencil, then your like power level's like way better or something.
I evolved like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's funny because there's this Odd Future kid named Super Scion. I don't think he'll listen to this because he's one of my haters. But he's been giving me so many pages of comments. So like, thank you, Super Scion. So that just I like put some Dragon Ball Z porn there. Like, is this what you want from me?
So yeah, I mean this has got to be one of the like craziest, most well done animated videos like I've ever seen.
Oh my god, that means so much. And you know why? If any old person said that, whatever. But you are a fucking animator. You made the craziest ass shit ever, so.
Well, I left that as a comment, too. I was just looking at my comments like, oh, yeah. No, seriously, because, like, yeah, I mean, when I watched it, I was just like, whoa, what the fuck? So, and that's hard to do,
Yeah, I don't know if you went what the fuck, because your videos are like, what the actual fuck? That's one of the comments that seem to be posted a lot between me and Jimmy's videos, and I'm sure your videos. What actual fuck?
Yeah. So where do you think that's going? Because see, like my pleasure in life has always been to get people to make those faces, like what, like that uncomfortable face.
Yeah, that's always been my goal. That's been my high. Like,
okay, so where do you think that leads? Because I don't know.
Well. Luckily, I'm doing that shit through art. And, like, if I were to go around, I could go around acting like an idiot. And
so me and Jimmy are the dumbasses because we're trying to do it as a business.
Yeah, we're trying to profit from it.
Well, how can we profit from what the fuck? Well, that seems to be people automatically go to what the fuck. There's a whole what the fuck section in Reddit. People love what the fuck they want. Like I said, I think people want the more and more blown up shit because their sensors have all been blown out because they've seen so much in the world that they're all burnt out of from all, so they just want more and more and more and more, you know, crazy ass shit. But
then you think maybe longer stuff? Because, you know, like, they watch GIFs, like, there's a bunch of animated GIFs and shit that fill that void, but maybe as time goes, we'll need longer things that'll...
Oh, yeah, because, like, usually it's just, like, a tit of some GIFs, a GIF of some tits, and a little, like, tattoo and, like, some, like, flowery thing on the arm, and bam, that fills the void. But then you need more and more and more girls, more and more and more.
Yeah, because, well, I guess, you know,
GIFs.
I was asking the questions of making stuff, because I know I talked to a lot of people who want to get in animation or do it, and it seems like most of them get hung up on technical shit. Like, I'm not good enough, or I don't have this thing, or whatever,
really?
so...
Do you know animation geeks? Do you know, like, trained people?
Yeah, I do.
Do they have salaries? Do they get salaries?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What?
Yep.
That's what my mom told me.
Yep.
I didn't believe it.
Yeah, they're usually not doing stuff that they want to do, but, like, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people who work on Metalocalypse that I met in LA and, like, stuff like that. And
that's her favorite show ever.
Yeah.
That show, let me know what metal was, yo. Like, it's my cartoons, you know, Metalocalypse porn. But I know Brennan Small's seen my Alfred and Metalocalypse porns, because Queen Diamond, who's the Queen Diamond, she's in Metallica, and she's the lead singer of the female tribute band to King Diamond, and they played with Brennan Small once for not Death Clock, but Brennan Small. And so she emailed in the Alfred porns, and he's seen them. So someone already knows who I am.
There's step one.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do. So you make the craziest shit ever, put it all over. And I'm sure, do people, I mean, not that it, like, means that much, but do people flip out, too, when they see this stuff and maybe think, yeah, some fucking perverted guy in a basement made this? Mm-hmm. They probably usually think that, right?
Right. They were right. It was just a perverted girl in a basement.
And then it kind of probably throws them off even more, right? Like,
Yeah, that's good, because that gets rid of all the feminists who are like, oh, but I'm a girl, I made this, and, you know, so what are you going to say about that? And then it gets rid of the dudes who are all like, oh yeah, bro, let's jack off, women suck, oh, I hate those bitches, oh, I fucking hate bitches, let's come all over their face, and, like, then, you know, so I get rid of both of those stereotypes, you know?
And then who's left?
the ones that matter.
Everyone else.
I know, I'm just kidding.
The cool one.
So, because I guess that's what I think a lot of the people listening would be interested in. Like, how do you just not give a fuck and just make stuff? Because obviously you don't really care if you were, like, drawing with a mouse.
Oh, man. I've been just doing it since I was a kid. I guess that was all I liked, you know? Like, people got, like, my friends were bitches, and so I had nothing else to do but cartoons, you know? So I was forced into doing it, kind of. But I was like, you know, writing books and shit since I was like 5. I think it must have just been, like, built into me or something. I don't know. Because I would, like, sit on the typewriter and write this shit when I was 5 for, like, hours and hours a day. And it must have just been the pure joy, you know. Now I'm an adult and I'm like, oh, I gotta get money. I gotta please these people. I gotta, you know, get famous. But, like, as a 5-year-old kid, you must, you know, can't really remember that much, but you probably only did it for the love of the...
Yeah, because, you know, I'm sure you've probably heard a lot about, like, your inner child and stuff like that, or kind of the psychological theories that we are who we are at all times. So, like, you're still 5-year-old you and 10-year-old you. They're still in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. I believe that.
And, you know, something that I've been pushing is, like, yeah, that's the person, that's the you that doesn't give a fuck and just wants to do stuff for fun or because it makes you feel like whatever. And I think it's when people lose touch with that and get too, like, I'm an adult and I'm serious, but then they try to create stuff or make it crazy, but they don't have that power. Like, they lost it.
Yeah, like, back when we were kids, we could, like, play games and we could, like, transport to, like, other realms, you know, with, like, I mean, like, I used to play crazy-ass games like Dog Revolutions and shit, and it was like it actually happened. Like, it was a movie. And now that magic has lost, we can't go together and be like, oh, let's play a game, oh, and, like, you know, get transported to that other magical world of childhood. But so now we have to do it through cartoons and, like, actual movies. So I guess
what do you think of the brony phenomenon?
Oh, I think it's nice. It's like part of the love revolution, because I think there's so much gore and shit, and the ponies they're a nice Flash cartoon, and it's not offensive at all, but it's still really cool animation, and it's like sexy animation. The ponies are inadvertently sexy to a lot of people, and you got these real fat dudes who are like so into bronies, and that's all they have. Like, I know what it's like for like a cartoon character or some sort of a made up thing to be all that you have. Like, so like Beetlejuice or like Alfred or like something. But so thank God for the ponies. Bring out a lot of, they got to let people's inner freak out, you know.
What's the coolest shit that you like? Like, I'm always inspired, like bronies or fucking objectum, people that fall in love with fucking objects, like a chick who was like making out with the fucking Brooklyn Bridge or something. Like, I'm always looking for weird stuff to inspire me. What kind of weird stuff do you look at for inspiration?
Huh. The fucking disgusting world around me. I go out, like Philly, man. I go outside, and there's just decrepit ass shit everywhere, and like sad people, like homeless moms and shit. Like, and what else? What else do I look at? Well, in high school I used to go up on Wikipedia and look up perversions constantly, like all the sexual perversions, Stalin, all the famous torturers, like all of that fucked up shit. But for some reason I just stuck to Wikipedia. Like, I wish I could know like all the fucked up sites. I wish someone could just give me the information.
I'm sure someone will now.
You'll find it.
Tell me where the source is, because I know the government filters out Google and shit. They filter that shit.
Yeah. Well, a good, like, staple place to find weird or funny thing is just, like, Encyclopedia Dramatica. They always have, like, their little articles and their videos, which is pretty hilarious. Because there's this...
Where you write your own stuff?
It's like a wiki, yeah, but it's just kind of like the don't give a fuck, like, uncensored wiki of the internet.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because, we all... So you're saying it's more so... Because I don't go outside that much, so you get it from the outside.
You should go outside. I'm not everyone. You gotta go outside. You're on the internet too much, and you're missing the world around you. And but they're watching the world die from afar in their own little houses.
Yeah, tell us about that. Like, you've spent a lot of time probably on the internet and then not on the internet doing shit. Like, you have to be social. We won't talk about your job anymore, but you're in the real world and on the internet, and you're probably people in your stuff, or you think they're more internet people more. Tell us about that difference that you see and what it does to people. Being always on the internet, or, not giving a fuck about the internet really, and being outside, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, back when in high school, I was, like, completely isolated, pretty much. Like, all my friends were, like, I was like, go away. I didn't have any friends. I was just shut up in my fucking room doing cartoons all day. And then when I went to college, I was like, wait, these people don't know who I am. I can do whatever I want. And then I've got lots of friends, and everyone loved me. And I was like, oh, wow, people do like me. I am valid. Because, I had, like, bad self-esteem and horrible self-image because, I had a bad childhood. But then, like, the self-confidence was diminished because, of my parents. But then I got to college and I was like, hey, I am cool. So then I got to love the people. I hated all the humans, but then I went out there and I'm like, hey, they're not so bad, these humans. They're like me, But then I was social for a while, and I partied, and because I never partied, and then I was partying. And then I realized that partying, that shit, and people, they get and then I was like, oh shit, these people are getting annoying too. And I was like, well, just back to animation. And Ralph actually wouldn't have made his movies if he didn't go out in the world. His movies are all about, like, the streets and shit, like, heavy traffic. Those are all caricatures of real people, and he had to be in the streets looking at all that shit. And so you have to, like, go back in and then come back out, and then go back in and then come back out.
Kind of the way I look at it is like we're miners. Like, we go out into the real world to get real life experiences and to see things, and then we go back into our lab and animate, and from the stuff that we mined, and then we deplete the resources we mined, then we have to go back out in the real world and mine some more and get some new experiences, and then keep going like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mined, for a while, so now I'm back in the hole.
Good. The world shut you down, but It'll try and do that, but you'll just work your way back up out again.
Do you think it makes it easier for you to put stuff on the internet that's crazy and not give a fuck because you're not just online all the time?
I don't think that has anything to do with it.
No? Because, I've seen some people care a lot about what people think on the internet when they're just there all the time.
Oh, yeah. Like, if the Odd Future forum was, like, all I had, they would know I was, like, a needy little bitch, because I would be on there all the time, like, we're like cunts, I'm gonna bait this hate 24/7. But now that I have people that, like, actually, because people on the internet, they don't really know who I am. They think I'm, like, some freak. They think I'm fucking crazy or on drugs or that I'm a horrible person or something. But, like, it's nice to have people, like, the friends that are like, no, you are cool, you are a good person, like, that's nice and reassuring,
Yeah. Huh.
So, I'm like, yeah. I don't know. I also don't give a fuck in real life. You can't give a fuck in real life either. I don't give a fuck. I do. I'm scared, though. When I walk down the street, I'm scared. I'm a little white girl, and I don't like people looking at me like, men. I don't like that. It's skeeving me out, pissing me off. It makes me want to, like, kick someone. So I'm walking the streets. You're scared, but you must not give a fuck. You mustn't.
Those are some great tips right there.
Yeah. Great safety tips for America's young ladies.
Oh, wait, no, I'm not saying don't go into unsafe areas.
So you're saying, like, walk into the hood and be like, the fuck you looking at?
No. If you're gonna go into the hood, you have to do it peacefully, and you have to have some sort of I could go in and sell DVDs, and then people are like, oh, she's just here to sell DVDs. but I'm not trying to get up in your shit. People think, what, is she a prostitute? What is she, like, is she a cop? Like, what the fuck is this? And, like, so I'm scared to go in the hood. I really want to, but, there's gunshots everywhere, and I have too much shit going for me to risk that at all. And if I could go in the hood and be invisible, I would. And I would get so much material.
Isn't that called Grand Theft Auto?
No, that's the synthetic version.
I know. But that's what it is, right? You can be invisible and go to these places that are dangerous you would never go to in real life.
Not really, only if you're a fool. Only if you're a fool and you think that shit's real. It's a video game. There are people dying in the streets, and it's not funny.
Well, that's, I guess, what I was getting at, like the disconnect, because there can, there can be like, I look at, not that I don't play that many video games, like, I never really did that much, but, if you're playing all these games all the time, or just killing people and blah, 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 like, then I think you can kind of lose value for, like, human life, so it's good to, like, be in the real world, or realize, like, I don't know, I saw some new, like, war game, and the enemy was going to be, like, anonymous, like, the hacker crew, like, wearing those masks.
4chan?
Yeah, like Anonymous, and I was like,
they
what
put 4chan in a video game?
I don't know if it was like a conceptual thing or something, but it was some game they were talking about where they were going to have, like, Anonymous with those masks be the terrorist in this game. And then I was like, well, then when people play the game, wouldn't it condition them so that they're like, Anonymous are terrorists, they're blah, 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 and just kind of that disconnect you get from being online, offline. Because I go back and forth, I'm just kidding, I'm not on the internet all the time. So... Because I guess it can change your perspective, like, when you're making stuff, I think. So, or maybe I'm just a weirdo, because I'm like, what do people think? Where is the world going?
You have to know, there's, like, 1 billion other humans, man. There's fucking 6 billion other ones. You're not sad, man. You're not the only one. There's so many of them. There's so many of them. And if you chop off everyone's arms and throw them in a pile... I bet you can't find your own arm. Unless you have some cool tattoos.
You should put that on the back of your DVD as a quote.
Yeah, that should be the tagline for your DVD from now on.
I know.
So
They're all the fucking same. But that's why the internet, we're all realizing that we're, like, the same. That's why we're all so obsessed with each other on the internet. That's it. Facebook is so weird. Everyone's just obsessing into each other and all these human images. And humans. And cats. Dogs.
Yeah, you're probably right. Like that saying that, you can't love or hate anything about anyone else unless you see it in yourself. So is that why everyone's so obsessed with everyone else? They're trying to make them like them, or they just see themselves? Is it a big mirror?
Yeah, I think it's one big mirror. And that's kind of freaky.
Yeah, I think on one end, like, Facebook was, like, the worst thing ever created. Because I see, like, parents, like, and nice, like they fucking just neglect their kids because they're like on Facebook all the time or talking.
No way. They're like tending to their kids on their Facebook profile. They're going to their kids' Facebook profile instead of tending to them in real life.
Or their kids right there and they're not tending to their Farmville farm.
Oh no.
Yeah. But I guess it's supposed to be good for creative people or artists or whatever, because then we can promote ourselves and people can learn about our work.
Yeah, and then they'll just like us a million times and we get no dollars. And
Yeah,
Facebook
does that
makes
do
millions.
anything? Does that do anything? Like the like button?
I don't know,
It doesn't
because
do
it
anything.
seems to do stuff, because the Walmart page, they're like us, and Taco Bell's like us on Facebook, and that's
But
new
that-
thing is,
but
like
that's 'cause it
us.
just-
What does that mean?
It just keeps you like watching what they're doing. That if Walmart says go to our page and like our whatever, like if it's a contest, like everyone like this, it just gives you a reason to go to Walmart's Facebook page.
Exactly, and they'll be on your homepage.
And
Buy
then,
this, buy that.
while you happen to be on there, you see, oh, well, this is on sale at Walmart right now. I could just go there.
I never even realized that. So it's the same as following somebody on Twitter. You're just
Yeah,
getting-
exactly. It's just like, so if somebody, like they do that, they have contests, like the most amount of people to like this status wins this or whatever. So, you go there to like the page and then you just see all their other posts next to it as well.
And
So
someone somewhere right now is double face palming. Like, they just realized that. Sorry, I don't know. I don't even have a Facebook, so I don't know much about it.
Good,
Well, it's getting Facebook's getting even weirder now because you can have fan pages, which I have a bunch of. Like we have one for the podcast now and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when people go on to like it, like say you have 500 likes or whatever, so that's how many people are following that page.
Oh, okay.
So, but every time you make a post, it'll say below it, this % of your fans have seen this page. And then if you click it, it's like, if you give us $5 more, or $5, we'll send it to the rest of the people on your page.
Shut up.
What the
So
fuck?
it's some new fucking weird scam they're pulling.
No way.
No.
Yeah, I'm serious.
No,
like
I'm not
they
believing
don't
it.
advertise it, but like if you don't click it, you'll never know
the
that.
Facebook police gonna come and shut us down, man.
Oh, that's fucking
Like they don't advertise they're doing that, but I noticed that below the
Fascist book.
posts. And so when I click it, that's what it says.
Oh, that sucks.
Some new scam they're pulling.
Yo, M-Dot, I know you probably give the world a benefit of the doubt.
Me?
That's what about going into the world. You realize you can't give it any benefit at all.
Yeah. Well,
Don't give anyone any money. Don't have any pity.
you're just more hardcore than me, Emily Yukis.
No, I'm not.
I'm a pretty cynical dude. So,
Oh, sometimes I go so cynical and so down there, but then, it's a beautiful world. You can't deny that.
yeah, well, I don't want to go too
But they
cynical
can.
because then I start like complaining about shit. And for all the people I know, like I'm the person that's like, tell us something funny or entertain us or tell us something different than the bullshit in life. So I don't, so I try to like be
Why
more
wouldn't they?
optimistic.
They should go to you for that.
Yeah, so I don't try not to be too cynical. Even though, in my head I'm pretty much like a snake,
Well, it is a depressing world. It really is. Not I'm just being cynical, but it's a sad, sad world. It's a sad, sad world. It's a sad, sad world. It's a sad, sad world.
The human condition.
La 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 la. It's a sad, 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 sad world, and everyone knows this.
What do you think about when people say that no one can change the world?
I say you're wrong. You're wrong, bro. Because if you can change it just by living. You're slaughtering a lot of animals. You're causing them misery. You're causing all the slaves misery by buying the socks that the sweatshop workers. Just by living in this country, you're causing so many people misery. So why not, if you do something else, you can probably influence it. And that's just by living and doing nothing. Now, what if you try? Maybe you can influence it. I think by having that cartoon, I'm influencing the world. That's in people's brains. That's changing their synapses forever.
Yeah, totally. I guess, do people try to change you or tell you what you should or shouldn't do in your art and animation?
Yeah.
What do they tell you?
They say, this is too fucked up, bro. If you want to take animation seriously, you have to tone it down.
What do they mean seriously? Like work for Pixar or something? Or
Yeah, what? I don't want to do that. Fuck that. I want to work for Pixar.
But they're the most famous, most popular, make the most money.
bruh. I want money.
But not Pixar money.
I'll make, and no, don't get me wrong, I'll animate for a salary because I'll be making money and animating I'll be, at least getting better at animation through this, but I'll still do my own shit,
Yeah, well, if you've heard like Ralph Bakshi talk, he talks about in his age it was like Disney, and people are like, "This isn't like Disney. You need to be like Disney. You need to do this." So today for animation,
Disney's horrible. Disney has horrible morals, bruh. Disney's one of the things that perpetuates the thing that you have to be happy and that the world is a fairy tale when in fact.
And that you're just a useless princess waiting for a man to save you?
Oh, exactly. It's fucked up tons of girls, Like, I always rejected the Barbies. Like, as a young girl, I would burn them. I didn't have a lighter. I guess I would just tear their heads off back then. And one time, my aunts gave me a bunch of Barbies for Christmas. And I just cried. I just burst out crying, and it must have offended me. I can remember the shame and the feeling of rage that I felt. So yeah, the princesses, they're just like you can't have facial expressions. Like they always animate the boys well, but then when they animate the girls, even fucking Bakshi, when they animate the girls, it's just a pretty face slightly moving left to right. Oh, look at my lips.
And you think that's because most of the animators and all the people working on it were primarily men?
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Yeah. They are mostly men, aren't they?
Yep.
I like to draw pretty girls too. It gets me off when I'm animating it too, but I at least to give girls facial expressions. Like if you see my video, they're pretty, but they're also badass,
That's pretty interesting. So in that kind of animation, or that's what you saw, that they were just kind of like dolls too?
Yeah, like dolls.
Like living dolls?
Yeah. Like Hollywood from Cool World. She was sexy as shit. Yeah, she was, but her face was just like, I'm a slut.
So, yeah, you know what? So what did Disney cartoons, all this stuff you saw when you're growing up, Barbie dolls, what did they tell you as a woman? What message did you think they were telling you, or did you get from it?
Well, I can't remember much, but I can remember much rage coming from the Barbies. I would just play with animals, like stuffed animals and dogs. Like I would pretty much play with stuffed dogs, and then and I thought the Barbies were trying to make me think I had to just be pretty and like that. I remember they gave me a mermaid Barbie later, like one of my friends, and I was like, oh yeah, this is great. But inside I was like, death to you. But I put it away and I took it out and I was like, maybe I can like this. It's pretty, but I can't do anything with it.
What about the women in Disney movies though?
What about them?
Yeah,
what message were they telling you?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't relate to those bitches at all. I wasn't no princess. But yeah. I think that, I just said it.
Most of the cartoons you liked as a kid were more like all dogs go to heaven.
Yeah.
The alternatives to Disney, right?
Yeah, that's interesting though, because they had a sexy girl dog in that movie, Sasha LaFleur. And I always thought, oh yeah, that's probably always why I drew male characters.
No, but I'm saying that maybe that's why you weren't that into Disney, because you liked all those alternatives to Disney. Because
I did like Disney films. I did like some of the Disney films.
What? Okay.
Did you ever see Ninja Scroll?
No, I know I've heard that before.
It's a famous anime.
It's a 1994 anime about this ninja dude, and there's this ninja girl too, whose like body is poison and stuff. I'd be interested if you check that out. I want to see I would like to hear what you think about that character.
All right, Ninja Kills.
Ninja Scroll.
You know what? It's like funny because that's probably why I did all male characters, because I just never had a good female character to like embody. You know what I mean? All the female cartoon characters were lame, and so I just stuck to male characters. I thought that was only what was good, But now I'm in that recent animation, Schoolgirl Alfred, she's bad. She's one badass dog, and she's a chick, and she's badass too. She makes the guy suck his own dick. She's like, has got that guillotine. So I can appreciate her finally as a female cartoon character.
So since you never saw the female cartoon characters that you thought were awesome, you're going to make them.
I guess so. I'm glad. I thought I couldn't do it, but I made a successful female dog character. Finally. Usually it was just Alfred dressing up like a girl, you know. Like, because I know the misogyny has been programmed into me since I was a kid. I will admit, I think it's been programmed into everyone because of this culture. I got some hatred for bitches. I will admit, I have some deep-seated misogyny in me. And I think that it definitely... Then I look at the cartoon and I'm like, oh yeah, I probably do, don't I?
Or you can just say, just hate everybody.
That too.
Well, because see, this is why I like making female characters. Like in my next movie, it'll be a female lead. Is because there's so little variety in them. There's so much more room to be original. Like I always try to make original characters, but there's so many male lead characters. You know, there's like not that much room to be original and do something different. But since there's so few animated female characters who actually have like cool personalities or something different, then I want to make those characters because it's so much more wide open. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. And your last character, that girl, she was cool. She was cool looking, but I will admit I could not stop looking at her tits.
You know, I did that. I was like, well, so I make stuff and there's a big like population of people who will just be like, oh, the fuck this is, and not watch it. So I was like, well, at least if she had tits bouncing all over the place, they would just watch those.
Yeah. But then it still puts in the thing like she's just a tit. She's just a pair of tits. But she also, you know, she was also badass too. So that's good.
But I gave her tit skills too. 'Cause she like hypnotized that monster to save that kid
with her tits.
Yeah.
Any girl can do that though.
So like I'm trying to put some other like spins on it or something other than. Because that's the thing you see with female characters too, and it's like, because I think that's lame too, and it's like, she's a badass because she has a samurai sword, she cuts off people's heads.
But she's so cute too!
But yeah, but they're still like, they're not characters, they're just caricatures, or they're just, you know?
Yeah, like, oh, my God, that's all. No, giant, and then she like slices off the dick. It's like detached between their killing and their actual personality.
Yeah, and then they land doing a tripod landing, you know, like on 3 legs. Like that, what was that fucking movie that just made me so, what was it called? The one where it was like, there was like these chicks who were like strippers in some mental institution and they were like fighting fucking samurais. It was a dude who did,
Oh, Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally one of those movies that just rustles people's jimmies.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, when I see stuff like that, I feel like they think I'm a fucking idiot. Or right. that you're just some fucking bonehead ass dude like, huh, chicks doing anything. Duh.
Video games.
Like me and Jimmy were talking about that last time. Like he said he showed the trailer for what's it called? The ice cream sundae one? It
was Victor's whole movie. It was at a screening for Victor's movie.
Yeah, and then the people weren't interested, and then like some girl showed her tits, and the guy's like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Now
yeah, exactly. The dude behind me.
Like what? You get like a slight buzz in your dick, and suddenly it's the greatest thing that ever happened.
It's like, oh, stuff's going on. Oh yeah, there's plot. Oh, tits. Whoa, all right, okay.
Yeah,
tit gifts.
It's almost like. I think if you can see the filmmakers or the person creating, if you can see their motivation, like if it's too clear, then it's just shit to me. If it's
do you think
like
their motivation wasn't Sucker Punch? Because it rustled my jimmies. It annoyed me in a way. I think it annoyed not a lot of people.
Just to annoy fucking fanboy dudes who never like touched a woman before. I'm like, oh my god, she's so hot. Yeah.
Yeah, and it like glorifies and like suicidal bitches like saying that's sexy or something. That's not sexy. That's just pathetic.
And for the because I'm like way into samurai shit. Like I studied the fucking Hagakure, the samurai code book, and read about fucking Buddhism and Zen and all this shit, like the whole samurai thing. So when people just like throw it out there, like I'm a samurai because I have a sword and I cut off people's heads, that kind of like pisses me off too. And for animation or just choreographical like cliches, like every time they land in that movie, they do a tripod landing, which is where they land with their hand and their knees down, which was taken from Ghost in the Shell Part 1, 1995. But they do it every time, and it's just like, ugh. But that's my animation geek inside of me.
Well, I guess you boys get offended too, like, with the movies.
Well, I kind of judge people by that movie. If they like that movie, I'm just like, oh yeah, we can't be friends. And if they don't...
Don't let that movie rustle your jimmies too much. Best to just forget it ever existed.
Oh, yeah. It was just something that I thought of when we're talking about female characters.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. The girl from Ren and Stimpy, that girl animator that John Kay likes, she did the new Ren and Stimpy's the Lost episode, and she did the sexy girl characters. She's a specialist in sexy girl characters. And yeah, they're sexy as shit, but they're all just complete idiots. I wonder if she'll ever do some sort of a full developed mentally female character.
She has a blog where I forget her name. Oh. She has a blog where she posts all her sexy girl characters. I gotta
look her up, yo.
Because those were Ren and Stimpy characters that she drew.
Well, yeah, that's just a one-dimensional character, and one-dimensional characters, no matter what, just get boring. It's like if you have some dude, like in all the video games, I'm a badass, I'm hella buff, and I have hella guns, I'm a badass. And
I'm a closet homo.
Yeah, it's like, if he was a closet homo, he'd be more interesting, and a badass closet homo. But if they're just, one-dimensional characters, and there's still a ton of those, mostly in video games, I think. The female characters in movies.
Too.
Yeah. Well, I just read...
know what happened to video games. Like, I never pay attention to the stories anyway.
Well, I was reading some books on game design this week, and like in all the books, it's like, please the player, make the player feel more powerful. Please the player, do more to make the player feel like they have more power, and they're great. And I'm just like, okay, like... So that's what they do in games. Mm-hmm. They need to make you feel like you have a 10-foot dick. And like,
you're awesome.
Isn't that what porn does too? You're so good.
Wait,
you're so good?
No, porn does the opposite though, doesn't it? Doesn't porn
makes you feel like shit?
Yeah.
Once it's over, yeah, it's like
the games make you feel like.
What did I just do?
Yeah, the games make you feel more powerful. I can kill shit, and I'm the man, and I'm boning chicks, and they want me. And then porn's like, I'm so pathetic, but I need to watch this anyway. Ah.
But if you pretend you're the dude, then you're like, oh, I'm banging this chick. Look how much this chick loves my dick. Oh, this chick is screaming. Oh, my God.
Maybe you should write a manual for men about how to watch porn.
Hey, I don't know. But I do make cartoon porn.
Maybe you should make a manual, like how to watch. Pretend you're this chainsaw dude.
Isn't that what they do anyway? They're just associating into the porn. I guess some people just sit back and are like, it's not me, it's not me.
What about cartoon, like actual...
I get pissed off when I watch porn. I feel like shit, too. I'm like, those nasty bitches, those nasty cunt stars with their fucking cunts, all they're good for is to be a cum bucket, the nasty slut. And like, they can't do shit, they have no talent. So yeah, it rustles my jimmies, too.
It's fucking twisted with that whole, like, the thing that always creeped me out was in pop culture was like that who's your daddy thing. Who's your daddy? Like, be a good girl. Good girl. Like, that whole, like, kind of incestual, like, thing that that pervades porn and stuff. It's like, be a good girl. She's a good girl. And it's like, what the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Like, please your daddy.
This country's very subliminally incestuous. First of all, why is everyone calling each other baby? Second of all, they're like, oh, daddy, daddy. And third of all, you ever see that movie, that show, Married with Children? Yeah. He totally wanted to bang Christina Applegate. It was so obvious. And everyone just accepted that on this mainstream TV.
I don't know if I quite saw that in that show.
Well, maybe I just wanted to bang. Everyone else did, but no, he did, man. It was totally in there.
He had his hand in his pants.
Yes, he had his hand in his pants while she was sitting right on the couch. She was wearing sexy-ass shit all the time. Oh no, that's now it's like her fault.
Yeah,
like that Mitt Romney dude.
I think that's what bugs me about. I'm going to go back, but like I only saw like 5 minutes of like that 300 movie. Like I walked in the theater, and I remember in that like the love scene was like porn, and that it shot like different angles, like different positions, and I was like, what the fuck? Because I thought it was weird that thing from porn was permeating like movies, like regular movies, and I think that's just gone further. And yeah, I just think that's fucking bizarre. Like taking something like pornography, but now it's like mainstream and like totally normal and.
Yeah, but people are still they're still so touchy about porn too. There's a rumor going around where I work that I sell porn because I'm in porn, I guess, because I stand outside the stadium and sell my DVD and it says porn on the back, and that's what I do. It's the trick. I trick them into buying it by that, but it really is just cartoon porn. That's the point of surprise. It's just a bunch of Metalocalypse gay sex, like haha, fuck you bro, jack off to this, you motherfucker, and like. But then, of course, people aren't going to think that I can do anything since I'm a girl, so they're just going to think it's actual porn and not cartoon porn. So I feel a lot of hate generated by this thing that may be going around. I feel like people look down upon me. But then I feel like other people actually are supportive of it, like it's just a regular-ass thing.
But I mean, like the hypocrisy though. Like the most fucking famous person in America, like started her career by shooting porn. Like,
who?
You know, Kim Kardashian.
She started her career by shooting porn?
Yeah, they call them sex tapes. But
no wonder she's on TV. Oh.
I mean, it's bullshit. A fucking sex tape is porn. There's no difference. They just try to, like, fluff it up and, like, it's a sex tape. It's fucking porn.
And it leaks.
What's the fucking difference?
Yeah, no, it is.
Somebody films them, like, having sex and it accidentally leaks out and everyone
they did
gets
that
it.
shit on purpose.
Yeah, no, it was porn. And I'm just like, really? This woman who's, like, a role model for girl or whatever? Like, she's famous. She's doing this, like, started her career with fucking porn? Like, really? So, that's why the world is
the porn is everywhere. And it's funny because we didn't create porn. The universe, nature created porn. Nature created us to fuck. And everything is fucking all the time. We just had cameras. We're gonna shoot whatever's around us. If everyone's fucking, that's what we're gonna film. And it's God's fault.
Well, then this whole system came about. It's like, if we lead people around by their dicks, we can get them to do anything we want. And then, you know, this whole system comes about and then pushes people in all these directions and gets all this shit done based on that.
What, profitizing off of it?
Yeah.
I mean, profitize off of the natural thing.
Like, my friend's finishing her PhD in psychology, and I was just talking about the shit. I was like, what if everybody's just driven by hormones and blah, blah, blah? And she's like, oh, evolutionary psychology. So I was reading about it, and then there's these ideas that what we think of as emotions and all these higher things that we're motivated by are actually not even there. And then we're all just fucking driven to satisfy our fucking hormonal needs and to get serotonin and fucking all these hormones. And, you know, and if you look at it that way, like with porn and all this other stuff, then it's like, oh, that kind of makes sense. So I thought that was kind of interesting. If you're like, why does a guy, because like with dudes, I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like, when you're a young man, like you're 18, it's like, I need a bone as much as possible. Okay. Well, I need my own place to bone in. Okay. So to get my own place, I need money. Okay. So I need a job. Okay. So I need a car to go to the job so I can have the place to bone. All right. Boom. There I go. You know. And
some people still bring girls back to their parents' house, though.
But there's still like hormones. You know, like I don't know.
Oh yeah, we're all designed to fuck. And that's it. It's so pointless. Just to make more and more and more and more.
But Emily MeCis, but why do you get so much pleasure from making an animation? That doesn't have anything to do with procreating or anything like that.
It has to do with a lot. I mean, there's like a fetus getting kicked out of a woman's belly. That's like pro rights right there. Pro-choice.
But that's not where it was at.
What were you asking again?
I'm practicing to start an art cult, like in the future. So here's my thing. So what if, because like you know who Rudolf Steiner is? He was like this German mystic dude who founded like the Waldorf schools and all this stuff, or like Aleister Crowley, which is the magician guy. And both of those guys said the only way to know the higher world or talk with, quote, God is through art. Like they both said art was like this higher thing that bypasses everything else. So I kind of think that, let's say, there's this other network that's disconnected from our physicality, right? That's like up there, and the only way to communicate with it or jack into it is through art. Uh-huh. So when you do that, you're putting your antenna up and getting fed from this higher thing that gives you a greater feeling or purpose beyond any physical feeling.
Uh-huh. Was that your question?
That's just my statement. That's what I think about why some people do things. Like, why do you make those cartoons in the end and beyond?
I agree, because reality is very boring. There's little very little options of things you can do. You're restricted by the physical world. You know, pretty much all we have to do is get drunk and fuck and do drugs. But then you have cartoons, and I think Alfred maybe he's a mystical being that's contacting me from the funky realm. You know, like Cool World. Cool World is the pixel dream world, and we go there every night. We do go to the world where we control everything every night.
Or like, think about this. So in all these indigenous societies, whatever, they used to have shaman, like a shaman, right? So this dude would take some drugs or go on a trip to go to another realm to gain knowledge. Then he would come back, and through stories or whatever, he would share it with his village or the people to enlighten them. So what if the artists are the shamans of today, where you're going off in these other realms, pulling off these ideas, these visuals, whatever, then bringing them back and sharing with people, which is causing an evolution of humanity?
Yeah, I actually feel the same thing. I feel like we're on this cartoon, digital, like, revolution thing. Oh, that sounded corny.
Well, that maybe we can't explain it now exactly. What is it doing? Or you can't count it with fucking numbers.
I don't know. What is it doing? What are we going to do by benefiting people, by showing them the most badass, awesome cartoons? It's not going to change the reality. It's not going to change the boring-ass world, is it?
It might.
I mean, it could. It's just like, there's this burrito place here that's open to like 4 in the morning, so like at 2 it's all full of drunk fucks like fighting each other and just fucking
Yeah.
And when I used to go there and stand in the 30-minute line, I used to be pissed off and be like, fucking stupid drunk people, fuck man, I just want a burrito. And then I saw the movie Idiocracy, right? And then now I'm just like, oh, Idiocracy, fucking dumbass. Like, then it changed my world, so now I'm not annoyed, I'm actually like, it's funny. So,
oh yeah, that's hilarious to observe the idiots. There's tons of. I have to deal with drunk idiots all the time.
And we've all been a drunk idiot before, and so.
Oh yeah, certainly.
But now
fun.
from that movie, now I think it's like it changed my perspectives because now it's funny. Now I'm entertained.
Yeah, really?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So I guess it can change your perspective.
Yeah.
Let's think about how different the world is just because of shows like South Park and The Simpsons and everything.
Yeah.
Those are like downloaded into everyone's consciousness now forever.
Yeah, I know. Thank God, you know, and like Metalocalypse, that gave people, like, well, it helped me learn what metal was, and that's like one of my favorite musics.
So they changed your world.
They changed my world.
Cartoons can change.
Well,
worlds.
you can change the world of the brain, but what I'm saying is, you can animate someone flying and have superpowers and doing this, and yeah, I'm the most badass Alfred Christ ever, but you can't make people in real life do that shit. You're still just a powerless mortal, you know? I'm still just a powerless mortal. If you can make, like, the fantasy realm in the cartoon and display it to people, can you really create that?
So how about this? So there's this dude, Ray Kurzweil, who wrote this book about the singularity in this book called The Age of Spiritual Machines. And he's like this guy pursuing the future of virtual reality or virtual existence and trying to make man immortal through the use of high technology. And the way a lot of these people view things is that the future of virtual reality is not like putting goggles on and like putting this shit on to experience it, but it's actually like putting nanomachines into your body that will interface with your nervous system, shutting off all your sensations from outside and recreating real ones inside your body, right? So let's say that technology comes about, and then, like, you know, the way video games work, like, they're creating graphics in real time, right? So this whole world's being created as it's pumped out of the computer. Then these Japanese scientists were able to pull fucking images out of a person's brain, right? Like, pull images out of their brain. So imagine the future of that. So, like, let's say we could hook up electrodes to your brain, and then you could generate this fucking world in real time. Then other people could be interfacing into it through their nervous system and be in your world in real time. Then,
wouldn't that be scary for the people in your world?
But then they would be excited because they'd be like, oh, they know they're not going to die or whatever, even though it feels totally real, but they would be there.
They're totally controlled by the person that invented the world?
Yep, then you would be God.
Oh my God. Do people, maybe if people really are, like, submissive, they really want someone to be their God.
Well, look at all the people who want a God and are submissive to their God right now, even though, you know, there's no tangible evidence to it, but you would actually be a God that you can meet in real life and have coffee with them and like, you ready to go into my world, bitch? And then like...
But is that's still not the real physical world, though? That's still an imagined world.
But I think the definition of what is real and physical as, like, artificial intelligence gets smarter, and then we'll be able to replicate human bodies, and then, like, from what is real and not, like, I don't think there'll be that big of a line.
So you're saying what if you can perceive it and feel it and everything, then
it would
it's
be
real?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then if you could be creating it and they're in it, then that would be real to them. Then they could fly or fucking have superpowers or whatever.
But they could just leave whenever they want. In this world, if you're fucked, you're fucked.
Well, you can always kill yourself.
Or you can just go into, yeah, exactly. Then you go into the alternate world.
I'm not the therapist.
Well, that's my ultimate, and I'm talking to people like, it's so bad and blah, blah. I'm just like, well, just kill yourself. That's what I tell myself.
It is bad, but despite that, live on.
Yeah. Well, I know there's, because, like, changing someone's world, like, whether you're happy or depressed or whatever, it's just how you perceive things. It's your perception, and something that changes your perception can change your world. That's
what I want. That's a nice segue, because I wanted to make cartoons that would show the bad world, but put it in a way so that people can, like, kind of step back and say it's okay. Go to the playhouse and kind of, like, show the horrible reality in a way that we can, like, accept it or something, and, like, find it humorous or something. So if I put, like, that perception, that could change people's perceptions, and they could accept the horrible world better.
Yeah. So I think you can make a difference and change people's world through your work. It's just that most people don't do that, so we don't see really movies and animations doing that, because what are the people trying to do, or what's their motivation when they make it, or their inspiration? It's just to please people, or, to make a buck.
No, to make a bunch of tit movies like those Adam Sandler movies. That's just one series of shenanigans just to make people, ha ha ha, fart, eat my Coke and go home.
So those are those man-child movies. I think Adam Sandler movies and those Seth Rogen movies, I've never seen any of those, but they're referred to like the man-child movies, where you don't have to grow up and take any responsibility, but still you'll be a boss and get everything you want.
Yeah, pretty much.
And do you know have you ever seen any Todd Solondz movies?
Yeah, I've seen Happiness.
No.
Oh, you gotta watch those. You gotta see Happiness if you haven't seen it. This dude's awesome. It's this little dude from New York, and he has this new movie called Dark Horse that I just saw, like, last month. He was actually here in the theater, and it's his response to those man-child movies about, like, what it's really like.
Yeah. That's why people are always watching cute cat videos, and they're like escapists. They're escaping with those Seth Rogen movies, like, weed and la la la, and people are almost dying, but it works out in the end, and, I'm gonna be with this single mom forever because I knocked her up, and in real life it's like, you're out in 3 years, and like, but in my cartoon, it's showing all the rape and the murder and the single pregnant mothers getting their babies kicked out of them. and we can look at and say that is the real world, but we're also escaping because it's just funny and it's cute and it's badass.
So there is no escape. There's just acceptance.
You can try and escape, but I think ultimately it's not going to lead to anything good. The shit's going to build up. Something's going to hit the fan. I think we have to look at this shit world around us. Well, us rich countries but I don't know if we can do anything to stop it. I don't know if we can stop. Oh wait, we already talked about this question. Never mind.
What do you think of like, I noticed this kind of happened last maybe 10, 15 years or something, like the use of like pain pills and shit by like everybody.
Yeah, that especially around here, it's been really bad too.
It's like everybody's on an antidepressant, anti-anxiety, or a pain pill.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that because they can't deal with the horrible world?
It must be that they can't deal, or either that or they were really stupid once and they're like, I'm a kid, haha, someone gave this to me, I'm cool now, and then 3 years later they're fucking up everything.
Because I guess when we're making, like, I went to my friend's, like, the HOA for her apartment, and the woman in the office had like a sign on her desk and it said, I just took a pain pill, why are you still talking? Right? And I was like, really? Is that the world we live in now? Like,
that's what she said?
That's the sign that said on her desk, like when you went up to talk to her. And she was like, blah, 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 like all dosed, like on oxys or some shit. Like, blah.
See, that's for, a lot of people escape through drugs. I escape through animation, so luckily I don't have to do those fucking drugs. to dissociate from this shit world. I can just animate. That's what I believe. It's either you do drugs, you fuck, you die, you have a kid,
or you make goddamn cartoons.
You go insane, or you do cartoons.
Cartoons are the savior.
Really though, it was my savior as a kid, dude. I'm serious, man.
Yeah, I mean that's what I tell people too. It's like I don't know what the fuck, but I can always go back to making animation and stuff, and it always makes me happy, and it always makes me wake up and feel like I matter and like I have a purpose and like, you know.
Yeah, people that have no purpose and have no talents. If I didn't have any talents, I'd probably be on drugs or knocked up. Because I wouldn't have anything else to do with my fucking life. I feel bad for people that don't have talents. I truly do. And I know that sounds like some elitist fuck shit, but call me elitist. I've been degrading myself and everything this whole time.
Well, the thing is, like, everybody has some kind of talent. Like, we're all better at something than someone else or have some special thing. It's just whether it's, like, accepted as, like, valuable or not, or... No, like
really? We do all have talents? I see a lot of people that don't do shit.
Well, because I think maybe it got taken out of them at an early age. Like, you know, they could have developed it, but it just kind of, they shut it down, like, when they were 10 or something.
Yeah, that's sad, isn't it? Luckily, I was able to hang on to that shit.
It's just like how little kids, when you're in elementary school, like, some kid always had something about them that made them a little bit different. And then kind of as you get older, all those differences kind of melt away, and then everyone's the same person. Pretty much, except for the, you know...
The outcasts?
Yeah.
Weren't you an outcast, M-Dot?
Yeah, I dropped out of the 3rd grade.
What?
Yep.
That's how... Oh, why? Oh, my.
Because I didn't want to go to school. I just felt like something was going to break in me, and the teachers were just like, you know, all strict and making me write lines, and I just said... I didn't want to go to school anymore, and then I didn't go back until I was 15 in the 11th grade. I was like, I want to go back to school. So then I did.
Extra made fun of because you were, like, suddenly reintroduced to the public system.
No, actually, no. I just, like, fit right back in.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I was normal. I played baseball and had a girlfriend and, like, had friends. I just, like, went right back in.
What? After being homeschooled and having that much time in elementary school?
No, I didn't even get homeschooled. I did nothing.
So, you weren't even homeschooled?
No, like this. At first, they tried to homeschool me, and they tried to send me to schools, and then I had a truant officer, and he would bring the fucking school police to my house every day to get me to go to school, and I'd, like, run from them and hide in trees and all this shit.
Wow.
And then,
that's badass.
And then I just went to the library. I was just really into dragonflies and fucking beetles and lizards and shit, so I just went to the library and read books on that stuff, and then... But still, my mom would still make my lunch every day as if I was going to go to school, and I'd just sit there. I'd sit there eating my lunch, watching cartoons.
She just gave up and accepted it. He's like, "Here you go. Go read your Dragonfly books."
Yeah, I even had like a family intervention, like one year, and like all my whole family like locked me in this room and brought this guy, and they're like, "This is why you need to go to school," and blah blah blah. And guess what they tell me now?
What?
It's good that you didn't go to school. It's good that you made the choices you did.
Yeah, I mean, you must be like, see, a lot of the kids that don't go to school and shit, they're on the streets, they're doing drugs, but you transcended that shit through cartoons. You're a successful cartoonist. Isn't that weird? They say you're destined to failure, but you became successful.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I'm alive and I'm doing my shit and I'm keep doing it. I mean, yeah, but
that's
I mean,
success, I guess. That's
yeah,
success.
no, in my world is success, making movies and continuing to make them. But the thing that I remember too, I would try to go back every year to see how it was. I'd go like the first week, and I remember in like 6th grade I went, and this fucking teacher was just such a bitch and just so like, sit there, don't move, like, and you know, and just had this vibe that she was trying to break the will of her students. You know, and I was just like, fuck this. But actually in junior high, I did get picked on when I went back there. I did.
Oh.
But high school, I got my nose broken. Some kid, like, put a bunch of sugar in the hood of my hat and then dumped it on my head. And then I tried to fight back, and he was bigger, and then he punched me in the nose and broke my nose, and then, yeah.
Why, you put sugar in your hood and then broke your nose?
Yeah.
That's like so weird.
Well, because in my
sugar.
Yeah, like I had a hooded sweater, and we were in class, and he sat behind me, so he was filling it up, and I didn't know while I was in class. And then when the class was over, he went and threw it over my head. So then I tried to like fight him or whatever, and he just punched me in the face because I was like short and fat when I was like 12.
Oh, so you have the fat stigma taunting you.
Yeah, I used to wear.
You little fat boy.
I used to wear husky jeans.
I know what that's like. I used to think I was the ugliest girl in the world.
Yeah, yeah, I had that.
I'm pretty.
I had body dysmorphism too.
Uh,
I had that like body dysmorphism too. Like I got way into weightlifting after that, and I fucking would lift weight so much. I weighed like 250 pounds, but I still thought I was skinny, and I never wear a fucking t-shirt, and I wore all these sweaters and shit.
oh my god! So you even got skinny, and then you were like, "I'm still not skinny."
No, then yeah, I was skinny, and then I was all fucking had these huge ass muscles, but then I thought I was skinny. I was like, oh.
So you thought you had no muscles?
Yeah, I thought I was skinny. No, but people were like, "What are you doing?" But it was animation that saved me.
yeah. Some people turn to working out, but then they just turn into juice heads, and that turns into drugs because they go for all the steroids. So.
Yeah, I never did steroids.
Just to do cartoons.
Yeah.
Just to stick to the cartoons.
But I saw some
Just
funny
stick to
shit.
the cartoons, Dad. Don't do anything else.
But I saw some funny
You have to
shit
go to the world.
in those gyms. You know, there was this old man we called the All-American Old Man because he seriously wore American flag bodybuilding pants, American flag shirt, American flag beanie, and then he'd put like fucking stack all the weights in the gym, like 2,000 pounds in this one machine, and then he'd stand by it and go, "Ruh, ruh," and make sure everyone was looking, "Ruh, ruh," and do that for about 5 minutes. And then when people like stopped looking, then he just put the weights away and leave. He didn't even do it. He just did it to get attention. So I saw a bunch of weirdos like that.
He probably got sodomized as a child.
No, he just looked all angry all the time. I'm a man. Whoa, America.
Steroids!
Yeah. But school makes you who you are.
Exactly.
So maybe that's why I can't.
Back of school.
That's like why I can't relate to people and the stuff I do. People are like, "What the fuck is this shit?" It's like, "Oh, sorry."
Then you ended up having a normal high school experience.
Yeah, for 2 years. And then they said, "Well, you can stay here for another 8 years to finish your high school diploma." And I was like, "Fuck that." So I just like lied and went to college and said I had a diploma. And then I graduated from college, and they never asked me. I was always afraid that they were going to ask me for my diploma, but they didn't.
Oh, that's great. Wait,
Yeah.
so do you have to pay for student loans? Are they coming after you yet?
Nah, I paid for school myself. It was only $1,600 a semester, so I just worked on full time in the summers and on the weekends, and so I didn't have any loans.
Wow, congratulations.
That's
really impressive. That's admirable. I envy you, huh?
Well, my school was cheap. It was $1,600 a semester, so I'm sure no schools are like that anymore.
Nope, not anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fucked up. Like, I know people, like a friend in my family, she's like in her fucking 70s, and she's still paying off she's gonna die with student loans.
They aren't gonna find me. They haven't found a lot of people. They ain't gonna find me.
Yeah, it's like compound
There's too many of
interest.
us now.
It's like, you need to pay.
She's 70, dude. She's 70. That's back when student loans mattered and people still had that shit. Now everyone's in debt. So they aren't gonna find any of us.
I hope not, because it's a trap.
They ain't gonna find me. They ain't gonna find me.
You haven't started dodging them yet, though.
You're a lone dodger.
There's millions. They can't track down millions. Millions, I say.
Just trust me. If there's money, they'll find you.
There's no jobs. I'm not gonna get a job. I can't get a job. Yeah, I'll be making money off the side with my paintings, but they don't have to know that shit. I'm gonna be broke. I'm afraid. I'm at the point I'm about to graduate at the end of this semester. Do you know this fear?
Yup.
I'm gonna have to start taking care of myself, man.
Yup.
I mean, I've been taking care of myself, but I had financial aid.
Yep. Did you, like, I was talking to this guy who had that shit, and he's like, "Oh, man, I'm in debt. I can't leave school, but I keep going to more debt because I'm in school, but as soon as I leave school, they'll make me pay it back, but I keep going to school."
So he just is putting himself in more and more debt by
Yeah, and
going
then
to
he's
school
like,
every year.
"Check it out, I got this new laptop for my student loan," and I was like, "Oh, dude, stop it."
Look, we're all going to be on food stamps, and we're all going to be on welfare. They can't come after us for student loans.
But see, this is what I'm wondering, because, like, I've seen how, like, the mainstream of the status quo, or, like, life's a big lie. Like, they say, like, work hard, the American dream, you can earn it, and, like, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, at the top in fucking Wall Street, there's these dudes who go to work every day and press a button on a machine, and these fucking algorithms generate millions of dollars out of nothing. Meanwhile, everyone else has to work and fucking make up the slack. And I don't know. I think sometime the whole thing will just break, and people will be like,
I think it has broken.
And they'll be like, yeah, fuck you. I'm not going to pay your loans. Like, what did you do for me? Like, and then
money.
Maybe we can fucking live real lives again and actually not have to be fucking slaves and enjoy shit.
Nah, man, I'll flee the country before they get me.
Yeah.
But that's what he's saying. He's saying that we should all just get rid of all that shit.
If you ever get any money, just buy gold dollars. Because you can take, fucking like $100,000 with they only, like, you can take gold across, like, borders and airports and stuff. It's not like having actual money. Like gold coins. So that's the way to, like, take money in and out of the borders if you're going to go somewhere and you want to take money that you don't want someone else to get.
So you can't take money across the borders?
No, if you have more than $10,000, you have to report it.
Bullshit. I'll put it up my vagina.
Gold coins.
Oh yeah, they X-ray you.
You don't have to. You can opt out, and then they grope you with the back of their hands. That's what I would do.
But they X-ray you, right? So if I put it in my womb, all this money...
No, they don't X-ray you.
Oh, okay, good. They just X-ray your suitcase.
They can... Well,
I never flown.
Yeah, now they either put you in the nude scanner, or you can say, I opt out. I would like a pat down. And then some person, like, pats you down, gropes you with the back of their hands. But then you don't get X-rayed or radiated.
Oh, okay. They can't go up in the womb.
No. They're not doing any fisting yet.
So they can't get me.
No.
I'll raise enough money with paintings, then I'll go to Eastern Europe.
Yeah, buy some gold and then bounce to Prague.
Yeah, I just gotta watch out for the sex slave industry, man.
Really?
Wouldn't it be ironic, after all that core porn, if I just ended up being a sex slave porn star myself?
And they just chained you up? They just caught you over there? Chain her up! We got her!
Got her!
Yep. I have more nutrients than most of the women there, so I'm probably a bit healthier looking. They'll probably pick me first. I don't get many nutrients, though, but I get more than them, the Eastern European.
I like a lot of Eastern European. Like, Prague's a really awesome place.
Serbia.
I've never been there.
They're very traumatized, I hear.
Yeah.
I hear that all of Eastern Europe's in a state of trauma.
The composer of Heartstring Marionette's a Serbian dude. So he tells me about... Yeah, he's told me a lot about that culture and kind of how it is. And yeah, they had some fucked up shit going on not too long ago. They just had a war in, 1994, 95, so...
Yeah, the Srebrenica massacre. That was just a decade ago, right?
Yeah, I think that's when it was. I've been to Croatia.
Fuck, Jimmy, you gotta watch that one.
I think I have it, actually.
Yeah, I've been to Croatia a bunch.
I feel like all those people would like my cartoon. It seems like the more fucked up shit you've seen, the more people tend to like the porn gore rap. That's why there's all those Eastern European porn gore rappers, right? They're like, Czechoslovakia! Oh, I saw this, and I got the dick got cut off, and the bothered pregnant women all over the streets, and oh my god! And then...
Well, this is my theory. There's mythology, right? So we have, fables and shit. And they're supposed to, teach you lessons about life, right? Maybe in those old Disney movies, they were, the fables of Pinocchio or Princess, fucking whatever. And, Pixar and the big cartoon makers are still using those old-ass fables and mythology from when supposedly it was a nice world or something. But now...
It was never a nice world.
Or that's what they're still pushing. They're pushing a fake world. But what about...
See shit.
What about all the people who have fucked up experiences? What movies are they going to relate to and be able to learn from or see a different example of how they can deal with their trauma and their shit? So unless people are making those movies or those cartoons or whatever, people won't really know what to do.
They aren't. Most of the media these days are saying you have to be happy. You have to be normal fat, everything's dandy, but it's not, especially in this day and age. They gotta make something right now for the people who are all in a state of despair.
Yeah, let's say you were somebody who, you're watching some cartoon movie, and, you're supposed to feel for the character, right? You're supposed to get into the character, be able to relate to them some way. One of the characters kind of be really into the thing or learn from it. And,
yeah.
Let's say, some kid was, molested as a child, and that's what, in his life, makes him feel like shit and fucked up. And then he's watching like a movie, like a Pixar movie, and the main character's biggest problem is that he lost his toy.
Yeah, or their parents are getting divorced.
Yeah, what if you never even knew your parents?
Some people's parents butt raped them for 8 years.
Yeah, so how do you relate to that? You can't. So you're automatically, like, pushing those people out of the way. Like, oh, yeah, we don't care about you. But then as the world gets more and more fucked, there's more and more and more of those people.
Yes, there certainly are. Especially the ones being bred right now. Oh, the future generation. I see so many decrepit children in Philly, and that is so very sad. So many decrepit children who have mothers that are also decrepit children.
So maybe
they're all fucked.
Maybe we're making stuff for them.
Yeah, maybe that's your future audience.
Yes, and they're going to be the future cartoonists, because you know what makes the best cartoonists? Traumatized, fucked up people. And the new crop of children, instead of doing drugs and going to jail, they can just put all their trauma into the cartoon and make some banging-ass cartoons, man. I'll start like a child cartoon factory.
You mean a sweatshop?
That's
what Jimmy keeps saying. He's saying it's going to turn into a sweatshop, but
no, because this is her dream. Like, her dream since I've met her. She's always just, because she says it very sweetly and stuff, too. She'll, like, talk about, I want to go into the hood. I want to rescue all the hood children and just get a big baseball stadium and give them all computers that they can animate on. I'm like, what, your animation sweatshop?
It's better than dying on the street, man.
But she'll go on and on and on. I'm like, Emily.
I don't go on and on and on.
Sometimes
I say it once in a while.
But it's long sometimes.
Well, can't I have dreams?
So maybe this shit that's being made right now is actually from the future. Maybe humans from the future are being like, oh man, they really fuck shit up. Oh, we get to this point and there's no mythology, there's no art, there's no films, there's no cartoons for these fucked up people. Okay, we need to go back and contact Jimmy Screamer-Claus through his dreams and present ourselves as angels and demons so that he will make the stuff so that when that time comes, it will be there.
Yeah, because, Jimmy, you don't really have any remembrance of the thought process when you made that movie, right?
No, I don't know. It's all a big blur.
Is that responsible?
Probably not.
You're programmed, man.
Because it's the future people that shut it into them.
That was always I met this Turkish dude I used to know years ago, like this fucking engineer, and his whole thing was that he wanted to create a work of art so great because he said, in the future, time travel technology will be available at some point in the future. And he wanted to make a piece of art so great, some anthropologist from the future would fucking come back to study him. And that he wanted to meet that person.
Oh.
I don't want... Oh.
That's interesting. You don't want that?
No, I don't want my cartoon camp to turn into a sweatshop. Why does every one of the staff have to be an abuser? Why can't there be good staff?
We're talking about time travel now.
she's time traveled behind us. She's still...
It just happened 5 seconds ago.
5 seconds is like 5 years on the internet. You ever think about that? Like, time travel anthropologists, or that you're being conditioned by some other people or things from the future that are forcing you to make this stuff?
Well, I hope so. No, I want it to be me. I want it to be me that made it. That's what's so good about it. It's my own.
I just want to be a robot.
I know you do. I know you want to be a robot.
I'll do your bidding, future people, entities, alien things.
I'm getting tentacled through my brain. But that's really where all my good pleasures come from, is excavating them into the animated realm. That's where my biggest brain pleasures come from. Call me lame or crazy or a nerd.
Yeah, no, same here.
I know.
That's what I'd rather do. I tell people, like, it sounds fucking weird. They're like, I was traveling, going places. They're like, oh, you're sad to be back, whatever. And I'm like, well, actually, my favorite place is, like, inside of my fucking computer making shit.
They back away slowly.
They're like,
So, can't talk to you.
Or coming up with ideas, like, even the start of it,
I wasn't really traveling. I was traveling inside of a magical world that I created.
No, it was real. I ate the food.
I remember when I first moved out of my mom's house, I moved in with one of my childhood friends named Lisa, and she never had the internet in her entire life. So I would let her use my computer, and I'd come downstairs and be like, what you doing, Lisa? She's like, I'm in Japan right now. And she'd just be on a Japanese website with Japan music playing in the background looking at photos. And that's what she would do. She would just travel the world that way. She'd just type France or whatever into the Google and just...
Really?
Go on her own little digital vacations. I was like, oh, all right.
That's kind of awesome.
Well, yeah.
I don't know where I am now. There's a scary man.
I was like, you're in virus land. Now I got to clean this out.
Scary man wielding dildo nunchucks. I don't know where I am.
She somehow always stayed just on the Japan websites and just traveled somehow.
Well, you know, Japan's become a fantasy land for a lot of American young people, you know? The whole weeaboo thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Japan's a magical place. If I just go to... I kind of had that, too. And then I went to Japan, and I was like, oh. And then I came back, and I was like, oh.
Oh, even worse. Japan have a fetish for us, too. That's weird, because we bombed the shit out of them. I don't know why they would like us after that. That must be some... what's that complex?
Stockholm Syndrome?
Yeah, that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. But Japan is that fantasy world, right? For a lot of people. Japan.
They love horror films, and they got a lot of money, right? They got a lot of money over there. I think they're indulging their fantasies a lot, right? They got them vending machines. They got the fantasy cafes where you dress up in your little furry outfits and your thing. And I never went to Japan. This is just shit that I read.
You know, I saw a thing there that this, like, 19-year-old dude who went to culinary school fucking put an ad in a paper and said, for $3,500 a plate, you can eat my genitals. So this dude cut his own genitals off and then cooked them in this, like, 3-piece meal and served it to these 5 people who paid $3,500 a plate to eat it.
What? They paid to eat some dick?
Yeah.
And he got the money?
Yeah.
Well, I would hope so. If he's giving his dick up, he should at least get his money. So wait, he got rid of his dick for $3,500?
He just wanted to do it anyway, but he thought he might as well turn it into a delicious meal.
Yeah, if you're gonna be if you're transgendered, you might as well get a meal and some money.
Yeah. Only in Japan.
Only in Japan.
But yeah, I guess I still like Japanese stuff. The whole samurai thing is fucking cool. And the masks, those no masks, I think that whole thing is still awesome.
Well.
Well, it's been a good show, people. Do we have a question, Jimmy? You said?
Yeah, we have one Facebook question if you want to do that.
Is it good?
You guys have mentioned M. Dot having similar traits to Tim Burton, who got his start doing what you guys do, making his own unique stuff, which eventually becomes a formula. The question is, would you guys still do what you do the way you do it if you became mainstream?
Okay.
Or do you do it because it's niche and underground?
That question is just flawed.
It's kind of wrong, too, because Tim Burton was never animated his own films. He paid other people to.
That's true. He worked for Disney, right? He was a Disney.
Like that dog when he made Frankenweenie, he didn't animate that. He hired the fucking Chiodo brothers to do it. And, like, he never animated his own shit.
Some of it? Didn't he at least do some stop motion?
Well, the thing is, he didn't even direct Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, Henry Selick did.
Yeah.
Oh,
he just.
God.
What did he do? He just drew the characters, I guess.
Yeah, he just did some concept art.
And then I don't even think he wrote the script, right?
No.
The lies. The lies. Well, I guess the answer is we're better than Tim Burton.
That's right. That's right. Bring it on, Burton. You can bring Helena Bonham Carter and fucking Danny Elfman.
I guess the actual question is, if we became... So wait, would you guys still do what you do the way you do it if you became mainstream? So I guess he's asking if we became mainstream, would our films stay the way they are, or...
Well, I would say to become mainstream, we couldn't be who we are now. We'd have to change to get into the mainstream.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
That's true, yes.
Unless the mainstream, people are getting more fucked up, I feel like we could get in this really fucked up... Well, we are in a really fucked up society. What am I saying? I don't see why we aren't mainstream.
But every now and then something wacky does break out into the mainstream. Like, I remember Blair Witch Project. You would never in a million years think that would have been a mainstream movie.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess so.
Attractive teenagers.
But then like when those things break out into the mainstream, then they just get copied and copied and copied.
Well, I think that time of like big movie studios and all that shit is dead. It's dying. Yeah. It's not gonna be that way anymore. It's just gonna be a bunch of people making weird things. All like more people making more stuff and getting more money than they are now, but not like huge big franchises. So you wouldn't have to change.
So you think the super big budget movies are gonna?
Yeah, really. Like as people were saying, like. There's all these people who don't have jobs, don't have fucking heating in their house, don't have anywhere to live, don't have all these basic necessities, yet fucking Hollywood movies they're spending $150 million to make a stupid movie. Like, I just think that shit's gonna collapse, or people will bum rush movie sets and steal shit, or, you know, like...
Bum rush a movie theater.
movie set, not a movie theater.
I don't see that being around, like, in 20 years or something. Nah.
Hollywood's a collapse. I think there's going to be a new Hollywood, and it's going to have a lot of black people in it.
Isn't that Bollywood?
No, that's Indian.
Oh, wait.
Man.
No, what's the other Hollywood? I know, I'm just kidding. Well, they're darker than white people.
There you go, they're halfway there.
Yeah, white people, man, it's funny being white. We're just like, you know, if you're half black and you're half Chinese, you're a Chinegro. But what if you're Lithuanian, Danish, Polish, Italian?
I'm Croexican. Yeah.
Croexican.
What are you?
I'm Croexican.
Whoa, yo, Croatia?
And Mexico. That's right.
Croatia, dude.
Croatia?
You must be dark, but you look like a regular white boy.
No, they're light skinned in Croatia. It's in Eastern Europe.
Croatian too.
Oh, so you have Spanish, so you know you should come to Philly, yo. Then we could rap.
Yeah, I could talk like a cholo and everything.
Then I could feel comfortable going into the Spanish round.
Yeah, then you could take us into the hood.
And like do like some sort of sign, you know.
I just know how to throw dubs. That probably won't go over well over there, you know. Representing the left coast, the west coast, the best coast.
No. The east coast is the Greece coast.
I want to go. I'd like to move to the west coast though and get away from winter. That would be.
Ooh, Jimmy Screamer Claus selling out from the east coast.
I hate winter. I'll run from winter.
Santa Claus don't like winter,
right?
But Scanta. Hey, I'd go to LA, man. Everyone's stoned out there. That shit, man.
Oh. If you want to go to a great place where everybody's stoned, you got to go to Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
Yeah, dude, seriously, people go to college there, at university, and live in the woods. They do. They actually live in the woods. They're called woodsies. They live in the woods and go to school full time.
See, if you try to live in the woods in Philly, you'd just get a crackhead after you every minute.
Nah, here it's like nice, and there's like redwood trees, and there's beaches down there. I was just there like last week. And everyone's high, like, there was this giant dog on the street, and these dudes were like, oh my god, man, look at your dog. Can little kids, like, ride it?
That's, like, probably all the interactions. Oh my god, I like this. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Is the state still functioning?
Check it out. In this city, they have signs that say hate-free zone.
Hate-free zone.
Yeah, it's legally, it's a
people
hate-free
can
zone.
They're stoned.
Nah, you can't hate on people. You'll get a ticket. It's a hate-free zone.
Angry stoners.
Well, these are like really happy ones because there's the beach and it's like nice all the time, and you know they just hang out.
But then it wouldn't reflect our inner personality, Jimmy. It would be like that. It would be like the beach is the mainstream television.
That's okay.
I
can deal with it.
Your inner soul.
That's fine. If there's no winter, I'm cool. That's good. Let's go. Let's go there. Let's get away from here.
Yeah, I would become sunny. I'd let the sun drench me in the sun.
We'll go move in the M.Dot sweatshop.
I don't even have one yet.
I have a sweatshop, but I can't.
I got a closet with some drawers, but they're not big enough to fit people into.
I can fit in a drawer.
Unless they were cut into pieces. Well, because that's where I kind of want to live, too, is in Santa Cruz, in this other town. It's like, 20 miles from here? It's over a hill, and it's where the beach is. It's just, like, way nicer, and there's surfers, and, yeah, it's just, like, way friendlier.
Doesn't ever get too happy.
Well, he lives in San Jose. He doesn't live in L.A.
Oh,
yeah.
So you're by the beach, right?
No, it's that Santa Cruz is the closest beach, which is over a hill. It's like 25 miles. But I take a bus. It's like $5 each way. So.
Oh.
But it's really nice there.
It's poopy over here.
Oh, M.Dot's a bike rider, too, like you are, because you ride your bike.
Oh, my bike got stolen
a
few months ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But it's okay, because I'm sure a hood kid stole it, and now he's got something.
You got to get one of those New York locks. That's what I have.
Like suck ass anyway.
One of those...
it was because it was the flaw of. Oh, I can't even say this because they'll evict me. So never mind.
But
it was the flaw of the workers for the people that I that they left the door ajar when they were deep in the other room and someone came in and took it.
Oh.
It's okay though, because I don't want to get evicted.
Well,
They won't find me. I spray painted a dick on the laundry room, and it was jizzing, a big black dick, because the laundry machine ate my quarters. When I came back, they had just painted over it white, but it was a different shade of white than the original white, so it just looked like a big white dick. And they even painted over the jism too, so it looked like it was jizzing. That was a wonderful moment. That's power right there.
Painting spooge in the laundry room.
That'll teach everyone.
And then they repainted it in the form of a dick, so that when the kids go in there, they're like, wait, does that just happen to look like a giant dick?
It's a ghost dick. But yeah, Santa Cruz. I wonder if there's anybody who listens to the shows from Santa Cruz. I don't think I've met anybody from films and stuff who were from there. Because they're too happy and they're having too good of a time all the time.
Yeah, they don't need to make movies.
Because when you live in a beach community and it's nice, it's like if you're bored, you can just go walk down the beach and sit there.
Exactly, and smoke all the weed. How does anything get done?
Yeah, that's what we saw. Like people were just sitting there on the beach in groups, and they take plastic cups full of liquor too, and then just hang out. And
sounds amazing. But I couldn't take that for too long. My mind would wander. I need to keep busy.
Yeah. I'm just trying to pretend I'm a regular human, I have a girlfriend and stuff. I'm trying to, pretend, I'm trying to. I like going outside. I like interaction with biological humans.
Why are they okay in the pixel world but not biological?
Why can't I just put them in this folder and let them sit there?
People don't like to realize that they're not the only ones. It's a hard fact to conceive. It really is.
Yeah, but the world is so much fucking better if they did. That's what tripped me out too. I've been going to a bunch of I went to aquariums and museums and stuff, and it seems like people forget about everyone else around them now. They'll just stop when they're walking and stop and look or pull their phone out, and you're like, dude, don't you know there's other people around you?
I noticed that too, dude, in the college, dude. People are always running into each other. And
that never used to be like that. People used to be mindful of their body and where they were and wherever the people were.
I'm not mindful of my body, I'll admit.
I am. I'm like, oh, excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me, pardon me.
Oh, I just bust through everyone. I said, I don't give a fuck.
Damn.
Hardcore Emily.
But you don't have it holding up an iPad, right? Because everyone in the fucking aquarium had an iPad or iPhone filming the tank.
I'm just really spacey. That's
Emily still doesn't have internet in her house.
The cartoon is visioning through my brain 24/7. I get distracted, man. Okay. It's like I got an iPod in my brain.
So before we end the show, Emily, what is your next dream animation project or thing you're going to do next, or that you want to do, your ultimate animated idea? No, I don't want you to spill your secrets, but is there something that you're like...
Well, ever since I finished Alfred's Playhouse, I've been conceiving of the new Alfred, and it was going to be... It got so complicated because I've been writing it for 5 years, and it's been based off on my real-life experiences, and I was waiting until I was ready, and now after doing that, I feel like I'm finally ready.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and I'm going to make a feature-length movie, and now...
Oh, shit.
What the high def thing is, now I know what my pixels were. See, if I would have made that Alfred back then, I wouldn't have known about all this shit, and it would have been a little bit poopier. But I think now...
Wait a minute.
It's time.
So you're going to make a full-length, crazy-ass Emily MeCis animated movie?
It was my dream. I knew it would have to happen in my 20s. It was going to be the Alfred, man. But he's going to have to die. He's also going to have to transcend. And it's about him being a porn star in the internet pixel world, but he's being porned out by himself. So he's he wants to feel, so he wants to become real, so he wants to go into the real world. And then I think there's going to be this real thing that also wants to be a cartoon. So they go through the mirror. And then fucking Ralph Bakshi had to do Cool World, and that was the same thing. And then there's going to be some sort of a hood revolution or a dog revolution, and there's then the Alfred Christ, and there's going to be some corpse fucking. There's going to be definitely...
Did you start on it already?
No, I've just been writing it. I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks filled with ramblings on what it will be, and now I have to finally comprise it all together. And I'm gonna have to move back to my mom's house and take care of her because she's like ill and she's been in and out of the hospital. And that'll be perfect because I'll be back in my isolated, sad ass Harrisburg home, and it'll be perfect. Like, I'll be revisit the Alfred's Playhouse feel, and I'll just be isolated. I'll just be writing that bitch,
Paying your dues for your art.
It's gonna be hard, you know, but at least I'll be able to take care of my mom and shit, you know. But it has to be done.
Hey, if you need money for that, why don't you do a fucking Kickstarter? Because I know you got a bunch of crazy ass fans.
Yeah, dude, I want people to just give me money.
You should do that. Totally make a fucking
Kickstarter. Start a pity fund.
Not because, like, everyone's using that except for me and Jimmy Screamer Claus.
Jimmy, you could definitely have a pity fund.
I don't know.
Everybody's, especially animation. I was just reading this article about how animators are making all this money on Kickstarter. I bet you, like, because I know you've had people that have been following your shit forever on Newgrounds.
Oh my god! I'm gonna be like, I'm the Pistachio Girl, and I'm Emily Yucas, the animator, and I come from a broken home, and I have an absent father, and my mom's been in and out of the hospital, and I just really want to start this foundation for these troubled kids, because I was a troubled kid too, and cartoons saved me. I want to meet Ralph Bakshi and John Kay, and I want to work for Adult Swim, so give me your money now so I don't die.
I bet they would fund your fucking project.
I'll make an advertisement video. I'll make a big old advertisement video. I'll showcase all my talents and all my pity.
Do it on Kickstarter. You know that site, right? Kickstarter? That's where everybody makes them.
Yeah,
that's like the one.
Shit.
You just
really stupid shit gets tons of...
Yeah, no. Yeah, it takes like what? Fucking 45 minutes to set up. You just have to link your bank account to like some Amazon account, and then it's like ready to go.
Okay, this is gonna be good. This'll at the very least it'll get me through the tough times. It'll be like, you know, the trickle down. Because I'm gonna start that shit because now I'm gonna be graduating. I'm gonna have to make the money.
Oh yeah, see, this is what you do. Fund that so you can fucking just live for like a year or 2 or 3, however long you need. You know, and just fucking make your movie. But raise enough money so you can just pay to live. So you can put off...
Will people do that for me?
I think so.
Will they do that for me?
I thought so.
There was... Look, if they do that for me, man, I'll send them like 1 billion love points in each direction through the space-time.
I don't know. I think so. I think you're a cool and unique person, and you do dope shit. And I think you've had fans out there. Like, I've seen them comment on stuff. I think so.
Yeah, and I have the pity factor. So I got the X factor and the pity factor and the sad story. I'm gonna get it all, man.
So yeah, because I was telling Jimmy like he should try that too for his next movie. Because you know there's no use in trying. Like I'm
trying to put together it right though. I'm trying to get like actual. Because, you know, you can have, like, incentives, but people always just put, like, dumb stuff, like, oh, I'll say thank you and this. But I want to, like, come up with, like, real incentives and stuff and make some paintings or something.
It'll be easier for them to give money to me, though, because I'm, like, an adorable puppy,
yes,
you know? You're kind of one of the older dogs in the pound.
Thanks, Emily.
They're going to put you to sleep, but I'm kind of fresh, and they might be like... And plus, I have tits.
That helps, too, yes.
Yep. So we can try it too, but you'll probably succeed and we won't. But we're gonna try anyway.
You just have to be the cutest puppy you can. And you gotta do as many tricks as you can, so they'll buy you and take you home or just provide you a home.
I mean, that's another tangent. But I think how much have you learned about like getting out there and selling shit and all that from your regular job?
Nothing.
No.
I don't know shit about shit. I need to read the manual, dude. What I have to do is see what Ralph Bakshi did. But the times are different. The economy is different. There's many kids that aren't very talented, but for some reason they're really good at making connects and getting into magazines and getting into like letters and like all that shit and promoting their shit, getting all their connects. And they don't really do anything, but for somehow they're good at something and they're getting money through these connects. And
they're good
like
at the social aspect.
Yeah, they're like good at Facebooking and Twittering, and I don't know if they have any actual talents.
That's what I suck at too.
If we just got good at that.
Or had managers to do these things for us.
Yeah. See, some people have parents that can do these things for them, but not all of us do.
I can see it now. Emily Yucas' successful Kickstarter campaign for Alfred the movie.
Oh my god! And I'll like use Alfred, like I'll get the paws donations to because I'll make Alfred like, you know, the Phillies are into paws, you know, the Humane Society. And what is Alfred? He's an abused pit bull is what they get in every day. They get like 40 Alfreds a day. So I can like get the paws people to donate to me, and then it can be like this charity, and they'll think it'll go to the dogs, but it'll just go to me.
Hey, I know, Emily, here's an idea. How about you get funding on Kickstarter, and then you can build a miniature baseball stadium. It's like 10 feet by 10 feet. Then you can hire me and Jimmy to work in your sweatshop. And then we'll use the wage that you pay us to fund our movies. How about that?
Why would I put you guys in the sweatshop? You guys have to run it, too.
Apparently
I can't do it alone,
We
man.
apparently get an allowance of children for ourselves.
You have some kids that you gotta tutor every day. And they're gonna be, you know...
They're gonna be troubled, so...
But they're gonna make some good-ass cartoons.
Yeah.
But actually, there is an old baseball stadium, and it's right north of Temple. It's the old baseball stadium that had the Negro Leagues, and it's all abandoned now. It's a beautiful building. It always reminded me of the William Street building, you know, that William Street logo at the end of all the Adult Swim shows, and it goes, ding, ding. And I always wanted to turn that into, like, the new baseball stadium. I'd be Pistachio Girl, yo, and then I'd fund the new Negro Leagues, because they are underrepresented in baseball, but it won't be a league where we don't give a fuck, you know, just, you know, baseball and blunts, and I'll be running around selling pistachios, and then we'll all go back to our studios and animate. Like, it sounds like some Nazi shit, man. I hope I'm not like the next Disney or something. This shit scares me sometimes.
Walt Disney wasn't a bad guy. He just hated unions.
But he had that scary little fantasy realm. He's the one that created the idea of all those female characters, and
yeah.
I thought he was a racist. I thought he was a Nazi.
Well, there's those things in The Simpsons.
I don't.
You know, in The Simpsons, he's always a Nazi, right? It's like under Disneyland in The Simpsons, it's like a Nazi concentration camp and all that shit. That's where I first saw it, was in The Simpsons.
Well, you're gonna believe him, aren't you? I mean, it's The Simpsons. See, that's how a cartoon can change things. They can make everyone believe that Disney was a Nazi. And maybe he was. But he probably had good intentions, and it's sad how things with good intentions can often end up just calamitous.
Yup. Like America.
Yeah, Hitler didn't do art. That's the prime case.
No, Hitler did do art.
Yeah, exactly. He did do art. He got rejected, so he went to kill everyone.
So that can be a motto for all artists. Support us or we'll be the next Hitler.
Exactly, dude. Because I need power, man. Like, I had power taken away from me as a kid, so I have a need for power. And if I didn't get power for animation, who knows what things I would go to get power. It would be corruption.
I never thought of that. Interdasting. Well, this has been a wonderful show, so thank you for being on again, Emily.
Oh, thanks for having me,
Jimmy Screamer
man.
Claus. I'm sure people will listen to it like 20 times in a row, so we talked about all kinds of crazy shit.
Put that fucking cartoon up, man. Put that cartoon up. It's all about that one.
Which one?
You know, Eat My Rotten Meat.
Oh, yeah. So, the link will be in the show notes, so go check it out and leave a comment or whatever you want to do. And protest because it got banned off YouTube, and there's only over 9,000 dicks in it being sawed off, so I don't know what the problem is. But
Over 9,000!
so
the N-word.
So thanks for being on the show, and until next time, Forever Alone. See, Emily Yukis doesn't give a fuck. She's making Forever Alone films, so why should you give a fuck? And you should make yours too. Yeah,
it'll be hard at first, but it'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah.
At least to keep you off the streets, guys.
That's right. Keep the kids off the streets.
Don't, and it'll keep you off the fucking. It'll stop you from being a whore. Just do cartoons.
Yeah, less whorage, more cartoons.
That's how I get my attention, through cartoons. And if I didn't have cartoons, I'd have to get my attention perhaps through being a whore.
Those are the options.
In this limited reality of this physical
Cartoonist
world.
whore. So what are our options? If we weren't doing cartoon, would we have to be douchebags?
I have no idea, M. We should just be thankful that this reality chose us. I don't know where I'd be without cartoons. I don't know if it would be pretty.
Yeah, well, we're glad you're doing cartoons, and I'm glad Jimmy Screamer Claus is doing cartoons too, because then I have, another friend in the world.
Oh,
I'm so happy we found each other.
So let's keep making cartoons.
This is my moment. It's my moment. It's my moment to survive. This is my moment to shine. When I do cartoon, this is my moment to shine.
Thank you and good night.
Thank you for listening to the Forever